moral actions in SVG, that is my responsibility. So when you see I come back inside the ring, tell them it's the crown you want. Now let me hear the crowd join and start to sing. Tell them it's the crown you want. Why you think I enhance my melody? I come here to take with the monarchy once I leave me home, and come here to chant, shout it, let the hear. Is the crown you want? Is the crown you want? Is the crown you want? I say once you see, I come here to chant. Is the crown you want?
WEFM is SVG.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time right now is 7:45. And Kingsley there?
No, that wasn't him though.
Oh, okay. And all right. So this is usually the time where we get commentary from Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas. All right. So Kingsley, all right, so we recognize that somebody is trying to call, but this is the time allotted for Kingsley. So we're just going to give him a few seconds to see if he's going to call us today, all right? So if not, then we would take your call after, all right? So let's give us a few moments to see if Kingsley will be able to call us. All right, so it doesn't look like we're going to be getting a call from Kingsley this morning. And boy, looking outside, the weather done change up. Completely change up. Oh, geez.
I'm sure I'm wearing my rain boots.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, so we see somebody's calling. Hi, caller, good morning. Up in there. All right, so caller could try calling back. In the meantime, we have another caller. Joshua, good morning to you. Joshua, Yolan husband. Okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
My name is Kingsley DeFreitas.
Kingsley, what kind of number you call me from? How are we supposed to know it's you? Eh?
Well, my apologies. My commentary this one will be confined around me and criminology. Okay? And the reason why I say me because I'm involved, for some to the extent. I had a radio program last night at WEFM, and I tried to leave early and to distract certain people, but I left around 10 o'clock. And I reached home approximately 10:30. When I reach home, I have to go out the vehicle to open the gate to go in, and I was confronted by somebody who was intend to do me some criminology. They point something resemble a gun towards me and tell me that I need to give them all the monies I had. I had $825 on me, EC, and I had a phone which was provided to me by WEFM. They took the phone, took the money that I had, and still the scene. I called the Keraka police station. Neighbor gave me a call. They came quickly and they did the investigation and taking statements. So I am just saying to people, you have to be very careful when you go to your home and the kind of people who just waiting to create some level of criminology against you. And it's unfortunate because I am a bit disturbed that somebody could come and do you that. They could. I didn't suffer any physical confrontation, but when you have a little money put aside to spend to do those things, and you want to take the money and your phone, you're like a fish out of water, and it's unfortunate. So if I am a little bit disturbed, it's because of the experience, and I if I was frightened, well, I wasn't frightened. I decided I was going be taken out, but the person decide they will leave it for next time. So most often time I will try to prepare myself for the eventuality. But I'm just sharing this to show you that in midst of life here are in there, and there are people who set and create a negative impact on you and will try everything. So that's my thought for today, and I'll probably talk to you guys tomorrow morning if I find myself on your phone.
Okay. In case, because I know the other number was a business number, do you want to, would you be working today? You're operating?
If I'm going to be working?
Yeah, you're operating the taxi today?
Well, if people call me, how they going to call me, I don't know. So I try to see if I could get my nephew to lend me one of his food if he has to. If not, I will call you guys later and give you a number that I probably used to call tomorrow, okay?
Okay. No, I was going to say, if you are working today and if persons need to make contact with you, you could go ahead and give them the number to contact you on, given that the other phone was stolen.
No, that's the phone I ring you on morning, and I used to ring you. That's the only phone I have. I don't have another phone. I'm not wealthy enough to have two phones. Okay, just as one. And the one that I had recently was given to me by WEFM. So I'm a beggar when it comes to phone today. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's unfortunate. All right. Okay. No problem. Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So that is quite unfortunate to hear. And as much as maybe physical harm didn't come to him, I can't imagine how he's going to feel now, especially when he's pulling up at home at night. That incident is not going to leave him anytime soon. All right. And this is the thing with people when they commit acts of robbery. Is the long-term effects that they have on people. And I mean, really and truly, the robbers don't care. They really don't care because they're just in it for what it is they could get now. But it's the long-term effects that it leaves with you. And Kingsley, I'm very sorry to hear of this happening to you. All right? Truly sorry to hear of this happening. Yeah. All right. So Josh, we recognize that you were trying to call. You could try to call back now. Okay? Now, sometimes just thinking about this whole robbery thing too. It's persons who you work all day to accumulate what you have, and in a swoop, that's it. It might have been rent money due, Vinlet money due. You can't go into Vinlet and give an excuse saying I was robbed. Bills have to be paid. All right, Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. It is very unfortunate to hear what happened to Kingsley last night. And I listened to the show last night, and people always tell it, to be careful on his way going home, etc. So for this thing to happen to him last night, it could be traumatic. And I kind of feel sorry for him in that sense, Or if it happened to anyone, as a matter of fact, you going home and bam, bam, bam. Just like yesterday, someone called me from St. Vincent and told me that someone got shot. I said, what? And the name they gave to me, I thought I knew. Good morning. I thought I knew the person, because the name is familiar. Their daughter is my niece, and the first thing I did was to call the niece in California to verify that this person is not a mother or is a mother, and they wasn't aware of anything, so they could make a call to the brother back home, and it wasn't her mother. But these are things that are going around. And when these things happen, I like to try and get to the source somewhere before I relay messages to other people of what happened. So I like to find out first before I relay. So I made 2 calls, and then I got a call back. No, it wasn't that person. But whoever that person was that got shot last night, very unfortunate again. I don't know if you guys heard of it. I think it's somewhere down in Camden Park, as a matter of fact.
In 2 places?
Yeah, one woman in Camden Park and I think a guy in Annisville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, so it's sad. Very, very sad. Yep. I want to just touch quickly on that when you talk about dementia and all that. That's what my mother had that. She passed away with it. And it's a troubling situation. Because, like I said, I was there for her 95th birthday. I know she probably, in a sense, why it was she couldn't call names, etc. Last couple of times I saw her, she knew, in a sense, who I might be, but she cannot call names. She would call a different son's name and everything. But it was fortunate that my sister, who's a lecturer in England, she took off from work because she could work, I guess, via laptop. And she spent 3 years down in Barbados with our mother for the sake of not putting her into a home. So, you know, it's those are tough situations. Some people can do it and some cannot. But and we always thank our sister for what she's done for our mother. Instead of putting her in the home, she took 3 years off and went to Barbados with our mother and take care of her. All right, that's my little take for today.
All right, thanks,
All right, have a good one. That's how I do my daily walking. Yeah.
I'm hearing it in your voice. Okay. All right. All right. So Joshua and Kojo was trying to call too. Joshua, good morning.
Depriving someone of their property is never a pleasant thing. So my heart goes out to Kingsley. I could relate to him because, as I shared with you guys, I had like $3,000 worth of jewelry grabbed from around my neck in broad daylight. I mean, the guy stared me right in my face. So it's never a pleasant thing. And despite what Kingsley thinks about me, Kingsley, if I was in St. Vincent, I would have loaned your phone because I have several phones. Anyway, and I'm genuinely sympathetic toward you, sir. I know what you're going through. Could I revisit the senior citizen issue?
Okay, sure. But briefly, though, but yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, there's an old song, "So flowers and flowers will blossom." I'm 72 years old, and I could remember very vividly things from the age of 4. But right now, I have an issue with short-term memory. And sometimes I would go outside and I'd come back in the house like 4 times, stand up in my son's office, and he'd look at me and say, "Dad, why don't you write down what you want to do?" Because I would actually forget what I want to do. So it's not a pleasant thing. And parents, I want to urge you, treat your children well now. Because the time is going to come when you will be the child. And I must share this one. It's kind of funny, but yesterday I was speaking with a friend of mine, and she asked me how was I coping with my short-term memory. I said, well, I told my wife and son, when they're fed up with me, put me in a wheelchair, take me on a hill and release the brake. So she looks at me, she said, well, when they do that, I would be at the bottom of the cliff to catch you. And this is the type of thing you want to create in your life, because getting old is not easy, guys. I'm 72 years old. I know what it's like. Sow your flowers now, parents. And I am positive that my son and my wife will not do that to me. But, I'm kind of speechless, because Kingsley's story really threw me off track here.
Okay.
But you guys have a great day.
All right. You as well too, Joshua. All right, Kojo, we recognize that we're trying to call. No, before we have to call you until you get a minute, okay?
All right. While we're waiting on Kojo to call, several persons also commented about being put in a home and go ahead.
Oh Lord. All right. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, man. I just want to call back to sympathize with Kingsley, man. And that's a brutal thing that happened to Kingsley, man. I mean, to say, well, he ain't get lashed out like that and he ain't get wounded, but Kingsley, I'm telling you, man, the whole world behind you, man. And I wish that people that have it, some people that have it could be, because you're a hard-working man, a hard-working taxi man, and you don't have patience and all kind of things to wait and make the little money. And I hope that somebody who listen might phone you back or get a phone and something like that for you. Because if I did the position, I help you out for sure, Jed. Because it's a really hard thing to go through. And I sympathize with you, and I wish that these cooks and they must know that nothing don't go unpaid. Don't go just so. Anything you do hand back to you in life, and that is like sometimes when this happen, that happens, sometimes you don't know in circumstance a human being and what they're doing to people, and they come back to the same old people thing. Sometimes how you make your bed, it's your life. Have a good day, man.
All right, Stephen. All right, you were saying, Dianna?
Right. So I realize that there's this negative mindset that is attached to being in a home, right? But I don't think the problem is not the elderly. The problem is not the children. Okay, so here is Coach.
Minute Man.
Thank you very much. I probably don't do half a minute now.
Go ahead, King. Go ahead, Coach.
I just wanted to talk about the aging of people. You know, we get to a point where we become children again, and as Josh just said, if you don't treat your loved ones, don't necessarily be children or thing, but people around you who, just treat people good. So when you reach that level, people will remember. I'm not saying everyone will, but at least you will have a few people in your corner who will look out for you. And when we get older, we tend to repeat ourselves. We tend to say the same thing over and over. Be patient with your loved ones, because when you were a kid, you were doing the same thing to your mother, and she probably got annoyed. You keep asking the same thing over and over, because it was a learning stage for you, learning new things, and when you get older, you tend to forget the things in them now. So you have to ask over and over about the same thing, and just be patient. A lot of people don't have that patience. Remember when you was a child, how your mother treat you, how she take time to listen to you. So you do the same thing now. It's a give and take thing. When you in between the young and old age, you're sprightly, you're running around and having fun. You will get to the same stage as your mother one of these days. So always remember that. That you will get to that stage too. So if you treat your mother badly now, when she's in that stage, don't expect somebody to come and treat you nice, because they have a thing to say, what goes around comes around. So if you pass out that kind of treatment to your mother, expect it to come back to you when you get old, and don't cry to nobody when it happens. And as for Kingsley, I'm sorry that you got robbed like that. I mean, I understand the feeling. I don't understand, because I've never been robbed like that, but I could imagine the feeling of being relieved of your hard-earned money. And, and for most people, I don't know how much people in St. Vincent cell phone becomes like their whole entire life. Because, in America,
it's his business phone too.
Well, as I'm saying, like, you take a man's phone, it's like his banking inside his, you know what I mean? So much things inside that phone that now if you take that phone from some people, it's like you take the whole entire life, And so I hope they could retrieve the phone at least, because I don't know what important information and important documents he might have stored inside it. Now, Roleza and Dianna, I know you all going to take care of your mom. Sorry, I'm not asking that. I know you are.
Yes,
well, if I can't, I will pay somebody to. I can't tell you. I can't promise you I will. Like, I will do that myself. If I can't, I will pay somebody to do it.
Dianna, coming to you now, I say you will. I know you will. You have
there are things to be taken into consideration, because if I am the only breadwinner in my house, I can't quit my job to go and take care of somebody else, because even taking care of somebody, you need funds. So there are things that you have to consider. I know we like to make it sound all glamorous. Oh, you're going to take care of your parents, but there are a lot of things to take into consideration. You can't,
Well, when I say take care, you might not physically make sure, but
you find a way.
Yeah,
she'd find a way.
Yeah, you find out. Yeah. You don't have to physically be there, but you make sure wherever she is, she's comfortable and happy. And you will go and do your part when you can.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we're not going to abandon them. That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to abandon them in the wilderness without,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Kojo.
All
All right, take
All
care. All right, you were saying something about your home.
Oh, I was just saying,
yes.
for a lot of times when we think about elderly homes, we have this negative thing in our minds that if you put your parent in a home, you're a bad person. Really and truly, the problems with the homes are the people walking in the homes not treating the people in the way they're supposed to, and the way that homes are run. And it's not every home for the elderly where you're going to find them being ill-treated or the conditions are nasty or so on. You just have to find the most suitable place. And sometimes for the elderly, being in that place where they have other persons who are their age, it actually does them really well. And another thing is there are different types of elderly situations here. I think we're kind of talking about two. So there's one where they're losing their memory, they have dementia and so on. I would rather deal with an elderly person that is, they could ask me 1,000 questions. I don't mind that, rather than to deal with one who might just go and pee there or might pull down their pants and do number 2 right there, or use your clothes. I would rather deal with you losing your memory. That's fine for me. That one is completely fine.
I remember, as you were saying that, I remember there was a friend of mine, a former coworker, and so there's this lady who all of us knew, all of us grew up knowing, and she has she made several children who were prominent in society, right? And she ended up going to a home, and I always remember my coworker saying, he was so disappointed in the other children because they put her in a home. And I said, but you have to understand, these are professionals. Many of them are not always, let's say here in SVG, they have their own life, and it is going. And plus, one of the things that she was when she was walking out to the home. So I was saying that you can't look at it in such a negative way, because they would have their reasons why they're putting them in a home. And I just want to end with this thing is that parents, when you're young, please think about what it is you want to have happen with your life when you get older. Please write it down. Please think it through. Let your children know what it is that you either want for yourself or make preparations for it, especially even financially, right? Because it's not a case where anybody wants to abandon their parents. It's not a case where you're good for nothing, or you're bad-minded, or you're ungrateful. It's not that, right?
Exactly.
While it is our parents are getting older, we also have a life, because we have to find a way to sustain ourselves, right? We have to be able to find a way to make a living, because we also need to keep a roof over our heads, right? So it's not a case of abandoning our parents, but parents also have to do their part when they're young, or when they're able-bodied and they're in a good mind and everything, to figure it out, right? Figure it out and let your child know. Interestingly, my mom, she shared with me, I don't know if it stems from the conversations that we've been having on air, but I felt kind of bad. But anyhow, she shared with me what it is that she wants to have happen to her when she gets older, right? And I felt bad about it, because she thought about it. And she wants to be put into a home. She already made the inquiries and everything, right? Yeah. And I felt a little bad about it, because they're saying, oh gosh, I don't know if it's what it is that I said on air that kind of prompted it. Or maybe she feels, I kind of felt like maybe, I don't know if she felt like maybe I just don't want the responsibility of having to take care of her, because when it comes down to it, it fall on me, right? It is going to fall on me.
Okay.
She might have 2 of us, but they're going to fall on me, right? So I was kind of pleased, but it also saddened me. But at least I know what it is that her thoughts are, where her thoughts are going, but still had to figure it out. And listen, parents, as much as you are getting old and it's an adjustment for you, please note that it's also very much an adjustment for us, your children, because seeing your parents getting old is another situation too that people don't talk about. Like mommy celebrated her birthday on Sunday. Oh. And happy belated birthday, mommy. Anyways, mommy celebrated her birthday on Sunday. And I always, when I see mommy, because we're not living together, whenever it says I see her, I have to confront seeing her, not as the younger person that I knew growing up, but as the person who her age has now started to show, folks. All right. It's now starting to show. And it's just a challenge for me. So this whole conversation of getting older is not just about the persons themselves, or our parents or our grandparents themselves, but it also affects us as children. All right. So we're gonna have to head on out. This is an interesting discussion.
My final thing. So my mother, as I was talking about my grandmother, my mother had actually quit her job to take care of my grandmother. And turns out my mother was actually her least favorite child there. And that was horrible. Many persons thought it was so noble that she did that. But that was another period of suffering for us. We've been already poor and suffering before. And it was worse. It's just life of begging and crediting. And I had to stop college. She didn't even have the money to send me in the first place. Somebody made my uniform and somebody gave me money. And after 2 months, I had to stop because every minute I'm missing school, I don't have money to go to school. And eventually had to stop, and then I was working in a store in Kingstown. So there are things that you have to consider. And she had how many of us she had at the time? Three children to take care of. Yeah.
It's a lot, folks. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So while we throw in comments and we pass in comments and criticisms, let's be mindful that everybody's situation is not the same.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody say your mom is my friend, always looking younger, maybe how she's slim. I was just going to say, I see your mommy not a couple months ago and she looked young to me.
Yeah, but you see, that's what y'all seeing, but I am seeing the changes.
Right, that is true. That is true.
And interestingly, Mrs. Joseph reminds me of my mother because whenever I see her, I see my mother, same mannerisms and everything. So there are times when I kind of mistake. Well, there's one time Mrs. Joseph was by a show. I can talk about your business. She was by this show and she was up and down. There was, it was a Christmas event, can't remember, but she was up and down in front of the stage and she had the bag over her shoulder, umbrella in her hand. And I said, but I'm looking like my mother. But I realized it can't have been her because I showed mommy the video. She said, no, it had to be Mrs. Joseph from Lakeview. So Mrs. Joseph, good morning to you. All right, with that, we are definitely way over time, but it was a good discussion. So our time check came to with a compliment of New Haven Funeral Home. It is 8:10, quickly approaching 8:11.